Welcome to the MagiReco news. I'm MagiReco the Rasielum. Our top story today, sus. To be more precise, yeah, I know we've just recently, well, just a few months ago, have gotten Rabi, but I guess we've already reached the point where we're getting now alts for characters that have just released. But before we get to that, let's talk about some other stuff. So there have been some general updates about, for example, how apparently the calculation of mirror points, like ranked mirror points that you would get if you fought players from your friend list via ID, that was a bit wrong. So now they've made sure that that is accurate to the actual mirrors. Like I don't know what exactly was going on here, but apparently something was going wrong and they fixed it. Someone who has maybe more who has actually engaged in this sort of content might be able to tell you more about in the chat, in the comments below. And maybe in the comments below, people also talk about how I've spent maybe like a whole bunch of money on a whole new kind of lighting, in case you guys have noticed. But moving on, there have also been, of course, as always, since ranked mirrors has just happened, some people always cheat in ranked mirrors, so all the people who have cheated, they now have had their points reduced to 0 because fuck cheaters, dude. Like, why are people even still cheating to begin with? I don't understand. There's also a new mirrors tournament in Japan, so all the Japanese people, they get to engage in this 8 mirrors tournament that is apparently happening on Christmas. So I guess these developers just really understand their players so well that they know that these players on Christmas will have nothing to do, so they might as well play in a tournament. Okay, I guess, sure, why not? Next up, so the next event that is going to happen is going to be a battle museum. Yes, this game mode does indeed still exist. We know that when it was first introduced, they told us it was going to happen every few months, and then it happened first immediately, and then like 8 months later. So I guess 8 months is just every few months, apparently. But here's the next one. Here's the next battle museum that's going to happen. And to celebrate the battle museum still existing, what we are going to get is the following. We are going to get a two bags that you can buy for paid gems, and the first bag for paid gems is 350 paid gems for an innocent gem and a 10 roll. It's all right. It's nothing great in my opinion, but it's all right. If you're a dolphin or something, maybe this is something that you can look into. Next up, 200 paid gems, you get an overlimiter core. That's alright as well, and a 10 roll. So yeah, it's alright, it's alright. These bags are alright, but nothing that's going to be too insane. On top of all of that, you now also get, as we did in the past as well, you get a special offer from Mitama, where you are able to buy any unlimited character from release until and including Himina, but you're only allowed to buy that character for 200 paid gems, and only if you don't have that character yet. Now here's the thing about characters in general in this game. Characters are only good when they reach all the way up until 4 slot. But with this kind of system, you're only getting a 1 slot character. You're guaranteed to only get a 1 slot character for 200 paid gems. Now, if you know that in the future you're going to roll for this character, then sure, go ahead. But if you maybe are not going to roll for this character in the future, paying 200 paid gems to get a 1 slot of a character is really, really fucking bad. Keep all of this in mind. Now moving on, after this, there is going to be a story, of course, to the battle museum, and in this case the story will focus around Kanagi, and therefore Kanagi will get a special step up gacha for her, in case you still want the queen. I say the queen to maybe like 5 characters, but one of the queens of MagiReco. Here's the chance in a step up gacha featuring as the rate up Kanagi. Sure, go ahead. But more importantly, I mean, Kanagi is pretty nice and all, but what you're actually here for is the new character. The reason why I even made a video in the first place, because I don't make videos anymore unless there's something new. The new thing is the sus part, which is that Rabi is here. Kimochi Rabi. Now everyone who has read the main story of Arc 2 will know that this character was going to happen at some point. Everyone called it like, yeah, Kimochi Rabi is going to happen. We just didn't know when or how it's going to happen. And they just randomly tossed it in with some battle museum that doesn't even feature Rabi. Now the reason for this is simply that this kind of character like Kimochi Rabi only happened for a few minutes in main story, and then this character didn't exist anymore in this way, like she was different after that. So the question becomes, how do we feature an entire event around a character that only existed for a few minutes? The answer is, you don't make an event for that character, you just drop that character into some other event. And that's what they did. They were like, we can't make an entire event around this, so we just drop her in at some point, okay? But I'm still happy that they did, because I think that even though this design is all over the fucking place, because she incorporates the design of like 9 different or 8 different other entities, I don't know how many Kimochi there are, into herself, I still think that it's at least a design that is interesting, it's unique. And I just like designs that are interesting and unique in this game, because, to be honest, even though there are many cool designs, there are also many designs that I feel like could maybe use a bit of more uniqueness to it. And so, even if this is going definitely a bit overboard, I still enjoy the attempt. Like, I still like the fact that they attempted something completely different, even though, what the fuck am we even looking at, you know? But yeah, what is she actually like? She has insane amounts of attack and defense. She has 4 blast discs, yes, diagonal blast discs. And before you go like, oh my god, diagonal blast discs are so amazing. Yeah, they're actually not. Diagonal blast discs is actually kind of shit in most cases. But it kind of depends on what you're actually using her for. Okay, but before I talk about that, let's quickly give a 2-minute overview of her. She has blast damage up, and I think this is ignore damage cut on connect. You're probably not gonna see her connect at all if you're using it correctly. Like, if you're using this unit to the maximum of her potential, you're not going to see her connect. Why? Because I can tell you right now, she's a mirrors unit, a normal mirrors unit, normal mirrors, not ranked, normal mirrors unit, and a PvE farm unit. In both of these cases, normal mirror solo unit and ranked and PvE farm unit, in both these cases you are not using a connect. If you're using a connect in either of these 2 cases, something is going really fucking wrong, okay? So this connect is kind of useless. Even if this connect set, if you connect with this, you get 10 billion paid gems. You still wouldn't see it. If you're trying to be effective in gameplay, because you know you're not seeing it in gameplay. Moving on, the Magia says the following: it does damage to all units. Let me read this up because there's a bunch of stuff here. Blast damage up to self, damage cut to self, okay, and a barrier to self. So a little bit of offensive, a little bit of defensive stuff. The important part is that it also gives MP regenerate to self, so you regenerate some MP, okay, and it restores some HP. Now, why is it important to restore HP? On most characters it doesn't really matter, because if you're doing either mirrors or if you're doing PvE farming, or let's say you take her into a Kimochi for some reason, let's say you take her into a Kimochi, why does it matter to restore HP? We're gonna see in a second why that might actually be a really important thing about her if you take her into longer form content. But yeah, overall it just buffs it a little bit, and then it gives HP and MP restore. Now the SE active is blast damage up and MP restore, so we can kind of see, oh yeah, she has a little bit more of MP restore to try and get to that Magia or doppel, whatever you want. She also has, and this is where it gets interesting for if you're using her in solo mirrors, she has variable for 3 turns when a battle starts. So yeah, she's another one, just like Anime Yachio, who just gets variable when the battle starts. Okay, sure, that's pretty good. And next up, she also gets a barrier for 5,000 damage when the battle starts, and she gets guaranteed anti-evade. They just fucking copy-pasted this from Anime Yachio. They literally just copy-pasted it from Anime Yachio, except the minus provoke. They did not copy-paste that. And just the fun part, here's why the HP restore is actually kind of important, and why the barrier is actually kind of important. She gets HP, she gets at maximum HP, attack up, and defense up. How much of that? Well, we don't know the exact numbers, but it seems like that she will get at maximum HP 50% attack up, or 55 or 50% attack up, and 50% defense up, or somewhere around those numbers. We don't know the exact numbers. Now 50 or 55% attack up at maximum HP. Yeah, I feel like that's quite a lot. I feel like that's actually an insane fucking amount, especially because her base attack is insane, even though she's balance type. How the fuck does a balance type be in like the top 3 of highest attacks in the game? That's kind of crazy. But yeah, she has an insane amount of base attack, and on top of that, you get insane amounts of attack up at max HP. So yeah, that's kind of good. Overall, though, what can we say about Kimochi Rabi with everything that we've seen so far? She seems to be absolutely perfect for winning mirrors, like normal mirrors. If for some fucking reason you still don't have a character that automatically wins normal mirrors for you, like Mokyu, like Anime Yachio, like Dark Kanagi, all 3 of these characters basically automatically give you a 100% win rate in normal mirrors, especially Dark Kanagi. Like Dark Kanagi at 1 slot, even just 1 slot with just her personal, means that you cannot lose normal mirrors ever again. You're guaranteed a 100% win rate. But if you don't have any of these 3 characters I just mentioned, here's another character. Here's another character that gives you automatically 100% win rate in normal mirrors. I don't know what her personal is, but if it's decent, then this will just play into that as well, because it means you don't need to actually have a good passive memory. You can just use her personal. But the point is, yeah, free wins in normal mirrors if you don't have a free win character yet, and for farming PvE, it's pretty good for farming PvE because you get to have 4 blast discs. But that said, it's blast discs that go in different directions, and it's diagonal blast discs. And diagonal blast discs might be better in PvP in most cases. Like in mirrors, it's usually better to have diagonal blast discs. But in PvE, it's usually worse to have diagonal blast discs. So for PvE, Ashley and Dark Kanagi are still going to be better. But you can still put her as your support for, like your all support for PvE, and it's still going to be fine. It might just not be as good. So overall, I don't know, she's pretty alright for solo mirrors and for farming PvE. The memory in here, blast damage up and attack up, which is just really fucking good if you have a blaster character. Like every blaster character will really want to have a Memoria like this that gives both blast damage up and attack up at the same time with really high base attacks. So yeah, overall really good Memoria for this as well. And the active Memoria over here, the 3-star, gives attack up and defense up for 1 turn, which is actually pretty good. Actually not a terrible Memoria in this case. So yeah, that was basically it. Like, yeah, there's also going to be, as I said, the next Battle Museum that goes to floor 75 and has a story revolving around Kanagi. But like I said, that's it for this news. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and hope you guys enjoyed my new setup. Isn't this great? I have like blue light over here and red light over there. It's called Rembrandt lighting. I don't fucking know. But yeah, all you guys do is hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys next time.